How we doing, guys? And it's finished. Arsenal 4, Atletico Madrid nil. Woo! I tell you something, what a second half performance that was. And that is exactly why teams do not open up against Arsenal and leave space in behind. Because in the blink of an eye, you can get absolutely annihilated. And that's exactly what happened to Atletico Madrid. Now, we'll go right back to the beginning. First 10, 15 minutes, I thought we started so well. We were on the front foot. We were aggressive in our press. And I was like, I'm enjoying this. And then we had a little 10, 15-minute spell where Atletico Madrid got themselves into the game, started to get a little bit of control. And that's understandable when it's going to happen when you're playing against some of the best sides in Europe with one of the best managers in Europe. There's going to be moments where you have to, dig deep and you have to weather a storm. And you're looking at the main chance for Atletico Madrid in the first half, and it was down to ourselves. And it was just calamitous. I laugh about it now, but it could have, cost us. David Raya obviously went to watch the ball go out of play, wasn't going out of play, makes the tackle, goes out for a throw. In years gone by, that would have been fine. But there's a multi-ball system now, so obviously it does get taken quickly. And yeah, fortunately, we don't concede. But went in at half-time and I was thinking, you know what, a bit more of the same. Let's see if Atletico are a little bit more adventurous, because they did set up with a low block. They played counter-attack. And when they've got the players that they've got, and, Alvarez in particular, you're going to have to be mindful and you're going to have to be careful of, getting caught out. Second half started kind of as the first in many ways. Alvarez had a really good shot that hit the crossbar. But then in the space of 13 minutes, the game was done. It went from 0-0 to 4-0. And, we got that first goal. And lo and behold, what was it? Set piece. And this set piece, I'll tell you something, right? Cast your mind back to when we played West Ham. And it was when we wore that tennis ball kit. That was a carbon copy of the Declan Rice free kick and the Gabriel header. It was identical. And it went 1-0. And at that point, Atletico Madrid got caught in a whirlwind. And it happens. We've done it to so many teams. We've done it to the other Madrid, Real Madrid, last season in the Champions League. They came out from their low block. They started to leave space. And we literally blitzed them. The second goal, Gabriel Martinelli. I've been very, very, very critical of this player. But I tell you something, that finish was absolutely superb, and his overall performance, in particular in the second half, was so good. If you perform like that on a consistent basis, then people like me cannot moan about your performances, because that was superb. But I will also say this, the run from Lewis-Skelly for that goal. Now you see what we've got in terms of a midfielder. And that is ultimately where he will end up playing. Similar, kind of thing with Bukayo Saka, came into the side very young, played as a left back. And eventually he was going to get his opportunities. And I believe it's the same thing. He will get his opportunities. And that run was just so good. And then Gyökeres finally gets a goal. And I was saying it to the guys around me at the time. He needed a goal like that. Scrappy. Just bundled in. Little deflection and all the rest of it. That's what he needed. Just something to go his way. Because up until that point of scoring a goal, his play was so good. But if he doesn't put the ball in the back of the net, everybody would start saying, well, not everybody, not all Arsenal fans, there would be some. But from the outside, they would be saying, oh, yeah, it's great, Arsenal won and they scored, but no goals for Gyökeres again. amazing how he's the only striker that gets critiqued in the Premier League and everything. Just baffles me. And then a couple of minutes later, another set piece, Gabriel round the back, heads it across, Gyökeres, bang, second goal. And that's exactly what he needs. And it was 4-0, like I said, in the blink of an eye. And that is one of the first times I've ever watched Diego Simeone look out of ideas and just give up. He didn't know what was going on, what had happened. And it was like, that's it, game over. We're able to make loads of substitutions and just see the game out. Another clean sheet. That's 3 in the Champions League. We haven't even conceded in the Champions League. And we've scored 8 goals. And it's just such a good performance. This ain't Olympiacos, with all due respect to them. This isn't Bilbao, with all due respect to them. It's Atletico Madrid, our very, 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 very good team with an elite manager. But he got schooled tonight by Mikel Arteta. He got absolutely schooled. And listen, all I've heard for the last 24 hours or so before the game, Alvarez, Simeone, Atletico Madrid fans and everything, talking about how they know that Arsenal's strengths are set pieces, but they know how to deal with them. I think you saw tonight, it's a lot easier to say you can deal with our set pieces than actually deal with our set pieces. And I don't think it's even so much the runners and, the physicality of Gabriel and everything. It's the delivery. Declan Rice's deliveries are insane. Like, unbelievable. I don't know what it's like watching the game on the TV in terms of when you see his deliveries, if it really gives a true, indication of just how much whip and the power and the pace and everything that he gets on them deliveries. And 9 times out of 10, it's on the money. And it don't matter how good you are as a defensive unit, when it's delivered in that way, it's so hard to stop. And that's why teams haven't been able to stop us. Because if they were able to, they would stop us, wouldn't they? But that right there, tonight, like I said, is exactly why teams don't open up against us. That's why teams won't leave space in behind. Because if you do, we could take the game away from you in the blink of an eye. And I've said this because there's been so much criticism about our set pieces. And we've had the usual suspects in terms of the media and their narrative and how they're talking about long throws and set pieces and everything else, which coincides with their team not doing too great at them. But I look at all of that and I sit there and I think to myself, you know what? I'll do you a deal. Teams don't sit in a low block against us and go toe-to-toe with us, and we won't score from set pieces. Okay, let's have an exciting game, toe-to-toe, and let's see who wins. Because I guarantee we will absolutely annihilate teams. Come on, give it a go. I beg you, give it a go. Because we will absolutely pull teams to shreds. So there's the deal. Stop sitting in a low block. Come and play against us, and we won't score from set pieces. Either that, or just learn to defend them. Work out what our secret is. Unlucky. But listen, it's a massive win, 4-0. And I don't care, listen, we haven't won the Champions League before and all the rest of it. You can sit there and say all those things. The rest of Europe will look at those kind of results and go, ooh, they're a good side, aren't they? Top of the Premier League, annihilating everything that's in front of them in the Champions League. This is a side that slapped 5 past Real Madrid only a few weeks ago. Remember when they did that and everyone was saying, ooh, got Arsenal coming up. Oh, good luck. Simeone, the master, the dark arts and all the rest of it. There's a new gaffer in town. So, listen, massive win. Massive win. I'm absolutely buzzing. Just got back from the game. I doubt I will sleep tonight. Once I've edited this and put the video out and everything else, guess what I'm going to do? What any Arsenal fan does, or any fan in general, when their team wins, they're going to go and watch the highlights. And they're going to find every single version of the highlights. I want to watch it with every kind of commentary, all the different stations. Listen, we all do it. When there's a great result, we all sit there and watch the game over and over and over and over. And, you know, the amount of times people say to me, you've been to the game, you've watched it live. Why do you need to see it again? Why not? Of course I need to see it again. I want to watch it again. I want to study things that I might miss in the game. And that's the thing, when you're at the game live, you don't get those replays. You don't get to see those moments that you may see on the TV. So, yeah, I'm going to watch it again. But listen, you know what to do if you haven't already. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about the game. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.